And welcome back to the Zolteus Gaming Channel. I'm your host, Zolteus. Here with an episode of Diablo 3. Now, this is an older game, but for many of us that still play, you know that they have, a bunch of different seasons. They introduce new stuff to the seasons. But what I'm here to do is recount a way that I find leveling up your character very quickly, especially for those of us who play seasonal, because seasonal is we have to start over from scratch. We don't have anything from our previous characters, unlike normal Diablo 3 that's not seasonal, where you have access to everything that all of your other characters do. This is not by any means a new way to quick level your character. This has been done by many people. However, I think it's been a while since I've seen a video come out about it, and maybe I'm just not looking in the right places. But I just wanted to recap how I go about going from 1 to 70 as quickly as possible when a new season starts. So, step 1, you're going to want to establish your seasonal character. So, make sure that it has the little leaf right here. And make sure to open up your game to start. You want to make sure that this character is established in the Diablo 3 world. So, start game, make sure you're on, bounties and explorations. And when it starts, at a minimum, the game has registered that your character exists. You should see all of this stuff around. Doesn't matter, which act you're in. You can go back to Act 1 if you want. But bounties and explorations, you could have done it in the normal game if you wanted to, but you would have had to do some questing at the very beginning in order to at least get to the town, and we want to be in one of the towns. So now that we've done that, we're going to leave game. All of us, especially at the beginning of the season, we're going to start out with nothing. And for those of us that have played many times, that's no fun. Why start out with nothing when we have so many seasons where we've gotten to, say, the last season Journey of Guardian, which I'm only one away from completing. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go to game settings. We're going to go to challenge rifts, because challenge rifts, you get this nice prize for challenge rifts. And the thing with those is that they transfer to seasonal characters. So obviously, we want to go in here, we want to beat this time, and we want to get this reward. So that's what we're going to do now. Unless something particularly exciting happens, I'm just going to skip ahead of this and show you the result of getting it. All right, Rift Challenge completed barely with 6 seconds left, but it was first try, so I'm not complaining too much here. So now we talk to Adira, get that Rift complete. It is confirmed, so now we're gonna leave. Go back to adventure, make sure that we're on our character, start that game. All right, so now we should see this little message pending right here in game. We'll click that, challenge rift. We're going to claim that to inventory. Let's open it. All right, so the reason why we did this is we want to see these 15 of all of the components that we use to create gear or to utilize the cube, right? We also get death's breaths. We get some parts, and we get some blood shards. Now, the blood shards aren't super important, but the death's breaths and components are, because what we're going to want to do is go to each individual, go to train, and make sure that they get up to rank 12, and you would need the death's breaths to do that, and at level 1 you're not going to get any of those, at least not until level 61. So it makes leveling this up a lot easier. You want to do that at all 3 sites, which includes the gym, the jeweler, the blacksmith, and the enchanter. So you would do this at all places. Now, the reason you do this at all places is because you're going to eventually use a majority of them. For the first character, maybe not so much the jeweler. However, once you start to get gems, you're going to want to do that, because what you're going to want to do is have all, and you're going to want to make a two-handed weapon or one-handed, depending on what character you're playing, item with a level drop requirement. So for like a wizard, it could be a staff. So I could go, all right, staff, that is level 70. It's the highest level. I'm almost positive they could also use a sword, and the sword is actually going to be the easiest. Two-handed sword, sorry. So let's see. Can use that. It's just locked. So if you see the X there, you can't use it. But I would definitely look at this. And basically, we're going to craft a level 70 two-handed sword. So when we do that, we're going to look for a very specific... Now, the high damage, so you see 3284. It's not super high. To be perfectly honest, that's actually kind of low. But we're looking for a very specific secondary, and that's one in which we don't have at the moment. But I'm going to show you. So, if we were to go to the enchant, put this in there, what we want to see is one of these things right here. So chance to fear, stun, blind, freeze, chill, slow, immobilize, knockback. Because if you have one of those, you can't have a second one of them. You see what I mean? So if we have fear, it eliminates all of these and only gives us kills, grant experience, durability loss, and level requirement reduced. So we didn't get one, so that was a bust, but just make another one. So you see that chance to knock back on hit. That's the one we want. So what we're going to do is throw that bad boy in here, leave that, and when I click this, as you can see, there's only 3 options. That's way better than a bunch of options, right? So we're going to click on that. And normally you would have a limited amount, but because this is mid-season, I have a bunch of these. But you would have a limited amount, so you would want to ration how you do this. So I'm going to click this. Yes, I know. Thank you. Level requirement reduced by 8. That's not great. Still a level requirement reduction, but we want in the 20s. So I'm going to select that. But as you can see, the price keeps getting higher and higher. So 21 is good. I'm gonna push the envelope. I think the best I've ever gotten is a 29 to start a season. I've actually, weirdly enough, gotten legendaries that had a 40 level requirement reduction. I was just like, well, that's great, but that doesn't help me. But 21's good. But you saw how the previous amount went up was 39,000. Now it's 45, and you only get 5 million in the cash. So you're not going to have 1 billion like I do. But that's the thing to kind of keep an eye on. So if for some reason you are just not lucky. I got 2 straight with a level reduction requirement. I had a friend do the exact same method, and it took him, I think it was like 30 some odd tries to get just even a level requirement reduction. It was only 15. So we're going to keep trying. And, yep, see there, I did not get one. We're going to keep trying. Normally, I don't let it get much past 150,000 per replacement before I look to a secondary option. And so, last try, nope, all right. So 21 it is for that. But the way I mitigate some of that issue is it's only 15 per, right here. I'm just going to make another one. And of course, you know, and as you can see, here's the difference. Plus 110,000 damage, right? Plus 9, almost plus 1,000,000% damage. You know why? Your attack speed increased. And so some of the things to keep in mind when you make these. Now, you don't want to make a whole bunch of these. I would say at most 4 or 5. But it's a good mitigation technique. So you see that chance to chill on hit, but it's even less damage. Look at that. That is horrible. So I'm going to make one more just to see what I get. And of course, it wasn't too much better to begin with. But this one right here, had it had the option that I wanted, I would have stuck with it because that is a lot of extra damage. Look at that. Plus % to damage. Decent damage per second, and that increase in attack speed. So, yeah, it would be great if we could, pick and choose and we could make as many as we want. But I have 2 options here to go off of. And because this one didn't get as high of a level requirement that I wanted, because now required level, as you can see at the bottom there in red, it says 49. I'm going to try it with this one just to see if I can get a better level requirement. And as you will see when I put this up there, and I obviously want to choose this one because that one has most. Back down to 33,000. So getting that level requirement reduction, it's a luck game. And it always will be. And sometimes to start a season, you won't be super lucky to get the first 2 to get a level requirement for 8 and then a level requirement reduction by 21. This is still very viable. It still puts you below level 50 to get a level 70 weapon. And that will make getting up to 70 a lot easier. But I'm still going to try just because, low cost, right? 23. See, I've already beaten this one. And the damage reduction is only a little bit. Now, if you wanted, to be perfectly honest, if you've done this, all you'd really have to do is just switch out to this in two levels, right? And you get plus 10%, damage. So, not too bad there. But yeah, I could keep going with this in hopes, you're not gonna do a whole lot with money to start. Like I said, the best just what I want. Best I've ever done is 29 to start a season, and that I got super lucky. And 27. See, look at that. And I will try. Obviously, it's probably not going to happen. Like I said, one more time, and it looks like 27. It is. I've got something I can utilize at level 43, and then something else I can utilize at level 49. Now, the same goes if you make, 3 or 4, and they all have the ability to get that easy level reduction requirement. You can try all of them and get varying levels of level reduction requirement, and then just switch off if the damage is better. Like, I really wish I had. See, I could even, take the chance and, go here because I really want that life after kill. It's going to be a lot harder to get your level requirement reduction, but for the low price, you just have to be aware of the materials you're using because you're only going to have, what did it say? You were only going to have like 75 of them, so you kind of have to be sparing. But try. Oh my gosh. And that can happen. That just made that sword like insane. Look at that damage, difference. 100,000 to almost 1 million. So you can take the chance. It's just more statistically likely that this sword helps you more than the other. So now, how to actually level. Personal preference. This is personal preference, how you want to do it. You have many options. So 1, straight to rifting. No problem there. Nephilim rifting. If you find something decent, you can. What I do like to consider, though, is getting a Herodric stash. So, like, kill Urzael. No thanks. That would be way too long. What I really would have liked is to have seen Zoltan Kuhl or even Magda. In this case, it looks like that's Vidian, so I really don't care about that. The other possible Osmodon is not too bad to get to. It's a very specific map as opposed to the ever-changing ones that we see. So I'm going to do that. Once I get to him, I will show you what I mean. So I know what you're thinking. It's level 1. How am I going to kill a boss? Can be hard. Can be hard. And it might take a little bit of effort. But as you can see, I'm doing a decent amount of damage here. See, it wasn't too hard, especially at level 1. Level 1 is a lot easier. It's when you go up a couple levels and you don't have the gear, that's when it becomes a pain. But see, I just got four rares. That's can be a big deal at the beginning levels. It will make leveling a little bit easier. The other thing you can do is I'm going to go back to Act 1 here. Let's go back to nutrition and we can talk to a couple of vendors, find some items here. You know, look at that, plus 156%. Fortunately for us, we've got something that already covers that. You can do the same thing with armor. It looks like it doesn't even. Oh, I know why it doesn't say anything, because I don't have one yet. Does this give me? Nope. All right. So I could buy this. That's the nice thing about getting the 5 million, right, to start with. And let's do this now. Let's figure out what we got here. So let's put that on, and that one looks to be worse, so I shouldn't have bought it. But put that in there. Bam. We've got way more damage now. Let's look for something that increases intelligence, and we've got nothing that increases intelligence. All right, so a little bit more in health regen, and the armor maybe puts that up a little bit. Ooh, well, that one weirdly enough is better, and it's a blue. But either way, what you're looking for, this number right here. Yeah, toughness is great, but guess what? I mean, what makes or break a character, especially for even the melee ones, how quick can you kill? So I always look to up this unless I'm going in a very high difficulty. Then I want to balance that toughness a little bit. Damage is always the thing that I want to increase. Now what I am going to do is, because I know I can, I am going to raise this difficulty, and I can only raise it once. All right, so let's leave the game. I'm going to put this on expert. And so it's up to you what you feel comfortable with. You can even do it at torment. But you know, you're talking about much harder enemies, longer to kill stuff. These two are going to be your two options to maximize speed versus experience. I'm going to go with expert just to give you guys an idea. Let's go back into starting the game. The other thing that I'm going to say you're going to want to look at here, and I'm going to show you my gems. Yes, I have a bunch of them. I'm not going to be using them specifically for this character, but you want to take advantage of the ruby. And the reason is because you put it in a helm, you get plus 41% experience. That's a massive amount. The other thing to consider is getting a... let's see. Yeah, it is this one. Putting this on at level 20, at level 23, because that's when you can get them. But creating these, which goes into what I was talking about, your sorry, for some reason I'm blanking. Let me get rid of these now, since I don't need them. But basically, going into Forge, you let's just do all. We can do belt, and here, not sages. It's gonna be sorry, boots. Here we go. Here it is, cane sandals. So if I were to click this, you know, no big deal there. Once you get into these higher ones, as you can see, it requires these crafting materials, and we get 15 of each. So, but highly consider doing these. Now, you're going to need 15 of each, and unless you complete bounties, which can be a part of your leveling process, and I highly recommend doing it maybe at the later levels, especially when you get that that awesome weapon that increases our thing. What was it for ours? Almost 1,000,000%. To do bounties, because in this case you get that better chance of finding magical items and plus 50%. Starting at level 23, that's a big deal. Combine that with where are you? Leoric's Crown. So increase the effect of any socketed gem in your helm by 100%. So yeah, the other thing you're going to want to do, I guess you could do it sooner rather than later because it's just a matter of questing, is go get a Kanai's Cube, and then the other thing you're going to want to do is get out of this game. Not switch. You're going to want to go to game settings, campaign, change the begin. Well, if you can change, but go through the quests until you can beat the Skeleton King. And the reason I say that is he drops Leoric's Crown. Leoric's Crown makes leveling a lot easier. I mean, even more so than the Cane set. So I would do those things, and that should help you level much faster. Once you have that setup, let's say you're level 23, you have all those items, I highly recommend doing one of two things. Either, not Act 2, Act 1, Halls of Agony. Now, the reason I say Halls of Agony is because there's a lot of skeletons here. They move slow, and they're bunched up, so it's a lot of experience. Here's the nice thing about wizards. Yes, you can destroy stuff pretty quick with them. And that's what I said about skeletons. I'm already level 3. Like, that's... And they, just straight destroying everything. You don't necessarily need Leoric's Crown. You can actually use your shards once you get to... I've seen a level 1 as low as level 6. Use your shards to just hope for the best. But if you want to maximize that leveling, you're going to want to do that. You're going to want to find a Leoric's Crown. If you don't, that's fine. You'll start getting gems around level 30 anyway. Use those gems, and whatever helm you get will increase your experience. So, you can do that. But yeah, once you have all of that, once you've gotten the crown, you don't even have to have the set. But once you've gotten the crown, if that's the route you want to go, I just recommend doing this until you hit around level 16 or 17 or so. And then I would go rifting, and then once you have your sword, your level requirement reduction sword, I would then go bounty hunting just to get those out of the way, because it is part of the season journey. And that's pretty much it. I mean, as you can see, I'm already level 4. I've barely tried. You can also go and get a follower. You can automatically get followers, so that's nice. You can equip your followers now. Your followers actually get to equip everything. Look for the stuff that emanates. And when your follower equips it, you get the benefit, which is nice. So, but yeah, I mean, you can see just destroying everything. Already level 5. No problem there. So, I know this isn't necessarily a tutorial. This has been done many times, but I know that people who are just now getting back into Diablo, or it's been a little while, they may not have seen something like this, or they may have forgotten how to. And this is pretty much how you do it. I have gotten to level 70 with a first character in seasonal, when a new season starts, as quickly as 3.5 hours. I was very lucky. So I've also had it as long as 5 or 6 hours. Obviously, one sitting isn't necessarily the best way to do that. But, it's still going to be one of the quickest ways that you can level up your character to 70, and then you can start rifting, getting gear, things like that. So I just wanted to go over that and kind of give you guys an idea, or a re-idea if it's been a while since you've seen it, and some kind of tips and tricks on how to get that level requirement reduction utilizing the least amount of resources, specifically money, but to show you just what you need to do, or to maximize your percentage of getting, level requirement reduction. It's still going to be based on luck, but, just something to keep in mind. But that's going to do it for this probably one and only episode of Diablo 3. Unless you guys, want to see me play specific builds, I can show you what builds I've used, some builds I've seen on the internet and modified. If you guys want to see that, just let me know in the comments. But that's going to do it for this video. So like and subscribe for more content. And as always, I will see you in the next video.